Hi, I'm MarzGurl.
I'm JoshKnightTheFirst.
And welcome to episode 126 of MokkoriPlay, the only podcast dedicated solely to all things City Hunter.
On today's podcast, we're going to cover Season 3, Episode 10 of City Hunter, titled A Wedding Dress for Christmas, Part 1.
We're actually managing to get the Christmas stuff done pretty close to Christmas.
I think that's important.
That is very important. I don't know how we managed it this time. We just kind of disappeared for a really long amount of time and didn't plan it out that way, but we came back when it mattered.
Yeah, life tried to tell us you can't do any more episodes, and then we kicked life in the nuts. And so life is very mad at us, but we're still going to do the show anyway.
We're going to do the show anyway, because we like doing the show, because we like the show City Hunter.
We like City Hunter a lot, and apparently so did a lot of people doing award stuff in Japan about a week ago.
What was the awards show again?
It's an award show called the Asian Academy Creative Awards. It's a very big award show over there in that part of the world for media that comes out in that area, and the Southeast Asia, that area.
Right.
So City Hunter, specifically the Netflix movie that we gush about on and on here on the show since it came out, won 3 big awards. The first 2 went straight to Ryohei Suzuki for his portrayal of Ryo. He got both Best Actor in a Leading Role and Best Actor in a Comedy Performance for playing Ryo. And on top of that, City Hunter itself got Best Feature Film.
Wow, Best Feature Film. That's pretty good. I mean, I didn't know that it was doing that hot, but apparently we know a lot of Southeast Asia loves City Hunter, right? China loves City Hunter, Korea loves City Hunter. I want to say there's some Taiwanese version floating around out there somewhere. So maybe that just makes sense. Maybe it makes more sense than I thought.
Yeah, but that speaks to it. If it's winning awards, then you know it's legit.
I mean, remember, they did have to go and put it into a very small theatrical screening in Japan that I managed to get to back in October.
And that's after the fact.
Yeah, that was like a couple of months after it came out, right?
So, half a year later.
Yeah, for sure. The friends that I met up with in Japan were like, haven't you already seen the movie on Netflix? I said, yeah. And they're like, and you're gonna go see it again? I said, yeah. And they were like, oh, that means you're a big fan. I was like, yep.
Yeah, we do this podcast.
Yeah. I told you, my friend, Kazushi Hinoki, he sat around and told everybody at dinner, oh yeah, she's a YouTuber, she does this podcast with her husband, and she calls it MokkoriPlay, and everybody at the table just kind of went, because they know that it's a sound effect for a boner, so
we know what's up.
Yeah.
We know what it is. We out here.
Yeah.
We in the building. We are simultaneously both out here and in the building.
I don't know how that works, but
that's what we're doing. So yeah, again, this is just another promo for that. Free promotion. Go watch City Hunter over on Netflix. It's available both in Japanese and English dialogue. Dub's good, dub's solid.
Yeah, don't be like us where we used the closed captions as the subtitles though. Really hunt around Netflix's really stupid interface to find the real subtitles, okay?
Yeah.
We messed up.
Yeah, they're in there.
They're in there somewhere.
So yeah, hopefully, now that it's winning awards, we can move forward with a sequel, Netflix. Can we get another one?
Maybe. How about a sequel to that last Aniplex movie, where clearly they've left it off yep, there's more stuff to do, and then
and we're just sitting here waiting, like you've driven off the cliff and you're in slow motion and you're waiting for the car to hit road again, sort of situation. That's what that feels like right now.
Yeah.
Just greenlight something here. Give me more of Ryo learning about
Union Teope,
yeah. Give us more, I don't know, live action Umibozu. How about that? You're gonna make a lot of people happy if you do that.
How about we get anybody making a movie officially teaming Lupin III up with Ryo, okay? Can somebody finally do that, because clearly they exist in the same universe for some reason. So just do it. Just hurry up and do it.
Just get it done.
And then get Detective Conan in there for some reason. I don't know why any of that would happen, okay? I'm not the one that makes those decisions. Somebody else needs to make the decisions, but just make the decision, okay?
Yeah, if you were willing to stick Uchitama in there, come on, this isn't hard.
Yeah, why Uchitama, of all things you could have pulled from?
I mean, It's fine. It's cute. It didn't hurt anybody.
It was adorable, and it just went away very quickly.
Well, yeah, it's a one-off reference.
Yeah.
We just want more.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
That's true.
Give me an excuse to go back. I would like to see another City Hunter thing in a theater over in Japan. So yeah, congrats to the cast and crew. Definitely congrats to Ryohei Suzuki, who absolutely killed it as Ryo. Did all that homework to get the role done.
One of the two best Ryo type characters. I have to say Ryo type because Philippe Lachaud, like, he's Ryo, but also he's Nicky Larson,
but
right?
Come on, like, he's also Ryo.
But he's also Ryo, like
for real now. The thing about it is, on the whole, it's not like Superman casting, right? Where you can argue like, oh, some were okay, some weren't okay. Like, no, they've all been top tier except Jackie Chan.
Like, and man, you guys on Blue Sky who keep going over like, oh man, I'm gonna watch that Jackie Chan City Hunter movie, and then you keep posting those pictures of him dressed up as Chun-Li, and then like you don't even know what City Hunter really is. Come on, guys.
We're gonna have you be visited by the ghost of City Hunter past, so you can learn what the true spirit of Mokkori is all about.
Because we don't have a ghost of City Hunter future right now that we are aware of.
Yeah, our ghost of City Hunter present even is like half a year, no, more than at this point, because it came out in what, April?
Yeah, that sounds correct.
Yeah, we're like, it's almost 2025, guys. Like, it's been a minute. We need some new content, please.
I mean, we're still gonna make new content.
We are.
Because we still gotta finish out this season, which we're almost done with.
We're almost there.
And then there's a real short final season, and there's a bunch of TV movies, and then, oh my god, we gotta get into other countries' shit.
Yeah.
Other countries did
Yeah, then we gotta start getting into the live-action adaptations.
Eventually, we might have to do Angel Dust. Should we do Angel Dust before we do other countries' shit? I don't know. I don't know. We gotta figure that one out. We got a little time to figure it out. It's all right. We'll be fine. We're gonna make it
somehow. But that all having been said,
wait, did I say Angel Dust? I meant Angel Heart. Angel Heart.
Well, I mean, I didn't know if you wanted to cover just all the Soul City Hunter, This Is Everything We Have first, and then we'll start talking about Angel. Like, I thought you meant what you said.
No, I meant Angel Heart, like the TV show. There's a live action show and there's an anime because it's the manga and it's spun off from City Hunter.
Yeah, I get that. We'll cross that bridge when we get to it, which more than likely will be sometime upcoming in 2025.
Oh god. Okay, yeah. Oh no.
So anyway, let's go ahead and start talking about today's episode, which again is a two-parter concerning a very obvious Romeo and Juliet parallel between two warring families who don't want their kids getting together.
Two warring families of shipping companies?
In fair Shinjuku.
Like, apparently there's blood in the streets. Like, if Yamato Shipping and DHL got into a blood feud. Got into a 100-year-long blood feud, and there's blood in the streets over which is the better shipping company. That's what's happening this episode, apparently.
So here at the beginning of the episode, we see another ad for Fiber Noodle. Is it a real product?
I looked for this product before. You remember I searched for whatever this is, and I didn't find anything, but it is showing up so frequently that I'm starting to wonder if it's just something lost to the internet, and certainly the English-speaking internet maybe doesn't know what this is. Maybe I need to start searching in like katakana or something, search Japanese internet for whatever this is, because it's coming up too often, unless this is just some in-universe brand.
Like a running joke.
Yeah, like a running joke. I don't know.
Because it's the whole thing, like, we're getting to the end of the season here, and like one or two times, okay, fine, but it's shown up like 5, 6, 7 times.
Oh, I don't know about that often, but more than 3.
It's noticeable enough to be like, okay, now we see you here. It's like the extra that is doing a little more than the other background actors, you know? Like, we see you, and we don't know whether or not that's a good thing.
We've noticed you exist. Are you a running joke this season? I don't really know. I don't know if they ran out of ideas. Like, anytime you need to see an advertisement, we've just made one up. Just slap it in there.
If it's something like, you know, like in the DC universe, like every live action thing since The Flash and onward has stuck in Good Belly Burger.
Right.
What if this is their Good Belly Burger? This is just the thing they invented for them.
Fiber Noodle. It's the in-universe instant noodle brand in City Hunter.
Fiber Noodle. It's what's for dinner for sweepers.
I miss M&M's, though.
Yeah, no more peanut M&M's. We lost that branding.
To be fair, I also haven't seen peanut M&M's in store in real life in a long time. Have you?
You just gotta know where to... Like, I think the last time we went to Five Below, I saw some there.
Oh, really?
I'm pretty sure I did.
Nobody wants to eat peanuts anymore. They kill too many people. Like a sweeper!
Okay, yes, good job. Way to bring it back. So it's Christmas time here in Shinjuku, and we see the people out in the streets, out and about, trying to shop for loved ones and whoever. And as we're going through the streets here, Kaylin pointed out that there's this person wearing this jacket on the back. We love pointing out the weird fashion that we see here in City Hunter. On the back of this guy's leather jacket, it just says, Posh Boy.
Yeah, I think Japan, they just really love English words, and somebody learned the word posh today, and they really wanted to put it into the show.
So we see Ryo and Kaori are already in the mini on their way to their next job, and as opposed to other episodes, we're told everything up front just about.
Everybody's named. Yeah, everybody gets a name this time.
Except two dudes later who don't really matter.
Nah, they're just grunts. We don't need names of grunts, okay?
No, not necessarily.
I don't care
They're
about
not the
them.
important ones.
No.
So as we're sitting in the car with Kaori and Ryo, Kaori is giving the breakdown of everything that we're going to need for this episode. So specifically, we're going over to visit the president of Yamaoka Shipping, who's a guy by the name of Shinzo Yamaoka, age 57. He's kind of a tight ass, and he's kind of bitter, I guess is one way of putting it, because he lost his wife about 10 years ago, and he's in this feud, which he'll let us know about, with another company called Umino Shipping. His company, Yamaoka Shipping, and Umino Shipping, they don't like each other.
Okay, sounds pretty bad.
So we get to the mansion, because both of these families have mansions, because they're both loaded, and Ryo and Kaori are put into a waiting parlor, I guess, with a billiard table.
Yeah, there's a pool table in there. Kaori's just kind of shitting around, well, if we're just gonna be in here a while, I guess I'm just gonna start playing pool, and she kind of sucks at it. She's really not doing a very good job. Then a man enters the room. I mean, there's two other men in there. One of them is clearly the butler, right? And then man younger than him walks into the room.
And this is Shinzo.
He hasn't introduced himself yet, but he is just ogling the fuck out of Kaori's ass. I know that Hojo and the people writing these episodes at Sunrise, they want you to know that despite the fact that Ryo gives her grief, everybody else in this universe can tell that Kaori is hot.
Yes.
I don't really like that she gets her ass ogled for just existing, for just playing a game of pool, but fine.
So yes, this is Shinzo, our client for the week, and the thing you end up realizing very quickly here is that he's almost exactly like Ryo, other than being a father.
Unfortunately, because, he describes himself, a self-described Mokkori man. Oh, no, man.
Yeah, if you're leading off with that, it's one thing if somebody else calls you that, but if you're calling yourself that, that's a red flag.
So he's 57, and he is already hitting on Kaori, say, baby, what are you doing later tonight? Oh, God, no.
Now, initially,
man.
Kaori is okay with the attention because, he's actually putting decent game on her. Oh, you need to have some pointers for playing pool? It's just like shooting an arrow from the heart. And she's like, ooh, he called me pretty. What's going on here? And Ryo is paying no never mind because, for starters, he didn't want to do a job, as is usual, that has to do with a male client. But because he's turned off to this, Shinzo picks up on that and tells Ryo, hey, this involves a 22-year-old hot girl, right?
And Ryo's just come again now? Yeah, it's my daughter. My daughter is just about to turn 22. And I'm sitting here going, oh no, isn't that about the same age as Kaori? And he's sitting here hitting on Kaori. Yeah. No, bro, no. Hitting on somebody the age of your daughter? No!
And what's the age gap here? 30 years? Something like that? 30 plus?
It's about right, yeah.
Because if Kaori's 21, this guy's 57, that's gross.
Yeah, 35 plus years.
No.
It's bad.
So Shinzo is filling in Ryo on what this case is going to entail, and it's basically a sort of missing persons case, but it's not quite that simple. So the long and short of it is that the daughter, Tsubaki, 22 years old, or about to be, I should say, has run off with the son of Umino Shipping's matriarch, this guy by the name of Kazuhiko. They are in love with each other madly. They love each other so much they don't want to deal with the bullshit that either of their families are dealing with, so they wanted to run off by themselves, so they are trying to elope.
So this dude, this father, is like, I love my daughter, I sent her off to boarding school, and I'm like, first mistake, you sent your daughter to boarding school. That's the first mistake. And he's like, I do love her, though, and I thought I would have been okay with her marrying whoever she wanted.
But anybody but this asshole.
Just not this motherfucker.
This son of a bitch is lying to my daughter and got her away from the family. I brought her up well by sending her off to schools in other countries. And speaking of which, while they're talking over all this business, dude has had the butler bring over some sherry, which has a very funny name. It's supposed to be a Spanish, from Spain sherry.
Spain, yeah.
But the name on the bottle is... The name on the bottle is Tío Pipi. Like Uncle Peepee.
Yeah, Tío, Uncle, yeah. Tío Pipi. This is very good.
But there's
also Gonzalez Bias?
Bias? What's a bias? I don't know what that...
Gonzalez with a C, not a G. Gonzalez Bias.
Is bias the Spanish version of a gat? Is that what that is? That's how I took it.
And this is Spain Spanish.
This is Spain Spanish. I don't know. Was that what was going on? That Shinzo was admiring Kaori's bias? Is that what that is?
I don't know. And then he goes on to explain, where this came from. And what is it the subtitle's saying? It's from the southern part of Spain, which he calls in the subtitles what?
The subtitles have it listed as Andantia. But the thing about it is, you can hear the words he's saying, and we're like, Andantia, that's not, because I read faster than I'm listening to him talk. Andantia isn't a real place, but you listen to what he's saying, and he says Andalusia, which is a real place in Spain.
I looked it up, and I'm like, wow, that's the south of Spain. What the fuck? I'm pretty sure they fucked up. Pretty sure they fucked up.
Because he said the name of the actual place that exists in Spain. This isn't another place that we can add onto the MokkoriPlay walking tour. This is just a screw up.
No, this place is real. And then they mention, the Netherlands not long after that, right?
Well, yeah, specifically Amsterdam.
They mention Amsterdam. So he's talking about real places right now.
Right. There's no fake lands here.
No. So... sorry, Discotech. I think you heard of Fantasyland, and I understand your knee-jerk reaction to City Hunter making up places. I get that. I understand.
Yeah.
But Spain is a real place, so your first thought should have been, let me Google what he just said real fast.
Yeah.
Just make sure this is a real place. So anyway, it's a sherry from the south of Spain.
And as they're drinking this, apparently Kaori had just finished watching, Iron Chef or something, or she'd been watching a lot of Food Network, because she's, suddenly become a connoisseur of fine sherries.
Everybody in any Japanese show does, though. Anytime they taste some new thing, we have to listen for the next 30 seconds while they go on for a million years and describe just, all of the different tones and colors in the flavor of the whatever the fuck,
I'll do that, but for brisket.
For brisket. So she's doing that for the sherry, and she's gotta be chastised by Rio for
Rio's like, hey, Kaori, what the hell is this? This is a comedy show. Let's get back on it. So yeah, after telling them all of this, Shinzo tells Ryo, look, the job is very simple. Anybody but this guy, if you break him up and bring her back, you can has.
Yeah, that's how that works. I understand they've had a long history of arranged marriages, and maybe there's just, there's no weirdness about it, oh, this is just really common, I'm not gonna think twice about this, but Kaori's not into it, because Kaori understands, well, what the fuck, if she's in love with this person, why would we do that? I'm leaving, goodbye.
Also, Ryo, do you know who this guy is? And Shinzo's like, actually, I do. I did a lot of homework into this guy, and you know what they say, every father wants their daughter to marry someone just like them. And that gave us so much ick.
Yeah.
There's 4 levels of gross on there that you can try and parse out, and none of them are good or tasteful, and we don't want any part of that. But it's just that's the thing. Like, it's not just the fact that Ryo's a hired killer. It's not just the fact that he's willing to do this dirty work of dragging this young girl away from the person she loves. The thing that was the cherry on top for you as a father is, no, Ryo, he liked me for real. Like, that was the selling point.
Yeah, Ryo, he liked them ladies just like me, so I'm going to pimp out my own daughter in order to make this happen.
And yeah, Kaori tries to turn down the job, like, screw this, I don't want any part of you.
I'm going home.
I'm going home, exactly. And she was right to do it. The problem is, on her way home, she stops by the bank to see how much they got to deal with.
Which is less than $200.
Yeah, so they're kind of in a pinch.
It's pretty bad.
So she's like walking out from the bank, and she's going down this busy street where everybody's shopping, and she happens to pass by a dress shop where there's this beautiful wedding dress there in the window.
And it's like 3 million yen, which I'm not too certain of the conversion rate in the year 1990, but approximately, if I had to guess, it's a little less than $30,000, maybe $28,000 for this dress.
That's more than we paid for our wedding.
That's more than we paid for the whole ass wedding. I think it was $400 for my wedding dress. Ain't no way I'm gonna spend $27,000 on a wedding dress. Some of those people on Say Yes to the Dress willing to spend that much. That's the cost of an okay car today.
Yeah.
Okay? Like, nah.
Like, that's a decent Subaru, is what that is.
Sure.
And, quite honestly, I would prefer the Subaru.
Yeah, I mean, my preferred vehicle isn't a Subaru, but if I had to pick $28,000 wedding dress or a Subaru, I would do the Subaru, sure.
It's fine. You can get a Honda if you want.
Okay, fine.
But, she's there realizing how little she has and how expensive the dress is, and she's telling herself, God, if only I could have $3 million just fall into my lap.
3 million yen.
Or 3 million yen to fall into my lap just so I could get that beautiful dress. And then Ryo just shows up.
Oh, hey, you want 3 million yen?
Here you go. And she's like, what?
You want to buy this wedding dress? It's kind of a weird thing for him to be really chill with her buying. He didn't even seem to have any ulterior thing going on. He was just...
No, he didn't.
It didn't seem like a joke.
No, he was kind of with it in a way that he normally isn't. Because really what he's doing is showing off, I took the job, because 3 million just happens to be the advance on the job. That's how much Shinzo was willing to pay us.
And so it was like, if the wedding dress is gonna make you happy, buy the wedding dress. And he wasn't saying, so that we can get married, but just yeah, we got the money, do it.
If it'll make you... But see, that's a loaded thing to say.
Yeah.
You don't just tell somebody you're living with of the opposite sex, oh, a wedding dress would make you happy? I'll buy that for you. And you can't read anything into that further.
Yeah, it is funny, because the look on his face wasn't it didn't mean anything. It was just very much oh yeah, I'm not even thinking about it. Here you go. So it was a little throwaway, but also it's weird that it didn't even bother him. It didn't cross his mind. What does this message send when I'm telling you can buy a wedding dress?
It's not the same thing as saying, oh, I'll buy you this book or this album or this video game or whatever, something on a smaller scale that you could be like, oh, that's okay, or, oh, thank you for that. This is a 3 million yen wedding dress.
And not even just the cost of the dress, right? It's the idea that it is the dress.
It is the dress.
It's a wedding dress at all, and the meaning behind what a wedding dress is. He's not thinking about, well, she's gonna want to wear the wedding dress. Oh, I wonder why she would want to wear that. I wonder where she would go in that. I wonder who she would wear that with. It's not...
she's not going to do laundry in the wedding dress.
Yeah. I don't know if he's not connecting those things, or if he has just decided, oh, that would make her happy. I don't know. I can't
Because there's
quite
something
tell.
to that.
Yeah.
There's something to that.
But it is kind of she's realized, hey, what do you mean you have 3 million yen?
Yeah, so they take this back to the apartment, and they're arguing back and forth, and they actually have a lot of good argument banter in this episode, more so than I think they've had in the entire season.
Right.
But no, they're arguing back and forth. She's like, you can't do this. I don't want to work with that guy. He's gross. Plus, those two kids, clearly they're in love. I don't want to break them up.
And you would break them up? You're a piece of shit, Ryo. You just want the money. And Ryo's like, How could you think that of me? I thought you thought better of me than that. I would never want to break them up. Clearly, they want to be together. I need to find out what it is that... Like, he's spinning this big old long yarn, but
it's all bullshit.
We've watched the show long enough to know. We know better.
Like, he's waxing poetic about these two young lovers are so unhappy about the decisions of their families. My job in this is to take away their unhappiness. That's pitiful that you thought so little of me, Kaori.
I thought you would have understood. He kind of turns his back to her, and she's like, oh my god, well, I didn't know you felt like that. And meanwhile, while she's not able to see, he's making the biggest bean face he may have ever made in this entire show.
Yeah.
Like, just... got another lie off on her.
She bloody. And then when Kaori finally says, okay, Rio, I believe you, he turns back and then searses the hell up. And I love it every time they do that.
Every time they do the snap back from goofy clown-ass face to, I'm so serious about this right now.
Which, again, because we've gone too many episodes without me praising French City Hunter, the thing in Nicky Larson, the live-action Nicky Larson that I love, is Philippe Lachaud perfectly did that in one scene.
He did.
And it's kind of basically the same thing of, like, him explaining to Kaori, we need to go to, I think it's Milan, to go look for this person. And he's like, we got to do all this stuff, and it happens to be at a lingerie show, and he's got his back turned, he's making the big face, and Kaori's like, well, no, you got a point, we have to chase after the client, I guess we got to go, and he's like, yes, and then he turns back around all serious, okay, we'll go. And it's beautiful.
Yeah.
It's that perfect understanding of the character.
Yeah.
Like, this is who Rio is.
I have seen some French people critique it like, this isn't City Hunter, this is just Nicky Larson. Like, they're weebs, right? Weebs about localization, right? And at the same time, I'm feeling like, well, if Nicky Larson is like that, I feel like Nicky Larson still captured the essence of what City Hunter was. Because, like, I mean, they didn't change that footage of Rio doing that. So
no, that's the character.
That's what the character is. It's fine. They got it. They know what City Hunter is.
So the idea here now is to go ahead and see if we can get any more information on where the kids are. They're out there somewhere. We got to go find them.
We say kids, but again, they're in their 20s, so...
We say kids relative.
Sure.
So the idea here is that they're going to split up and cover more ground. Kaori gets in the Fiat and drives off to find whatever information she can about where they're at. Rio, on the other hand, I guess he already had a lead, because he knows where to find Kazuhiko. And he's in Kabukicho.
Yeah, you think at first, like, oh, Rio just wants to go down to Kabukicho. But actually, so he's driven the Mini Cooper into Kabukicho, which looks exactly like Kabukicho. You see the square, right? And you see the Milano Theater down at the other end, which really did used to exist there. It doesn't exist there now, but there are other theaters that are down there now.
Yeah, the Godzilla Theater, the Toho Theater's down there now.
Yeah, both of those theaters are there. And he's staring out the window of his car, and just kind of creepily, like, to me, it's creepy to watch somebody, but he's just doing his job. He's watching this guy in a Santa suit be a decent guy in a Santa suit, and Rio's over here like, I don't know what this guy who gave us this job was talking about, because this seems like kind of a decent human being. He's like picking up children who've fallen over in the street and setting them back upright and like giving people gifts and stuff.
The thing here is that Kazuhiko is like a street Santa. A street Santa. Yeah, he's out here promoting for a business, and in between being a promotional Santa, he is also doing small acts of kindness.
Yeah. It seems to be for a restaurant, because we see him later on that evening leave a building with a sign for a restaurant out front. So the assumption is it's
to drum up business for this restaurant. He is dressed up as Santa because it's December,
right? Which sort of leads me to believe, as we kind of continue on, like, he goes home and Rio's having to follow him home, and we see the state that he and the daughter that ran away from home they're eloping together. We see the state of the house that they're living in. It feels like the conclusion you come to is that they left without their family's fortunes. They just were like Like, this guy is now picking up a normal-ass job out in Kabukicho. Mind you, he's the heir of a pretty fucking loaded shipping industry conglomerate. He shouldn't have to be doing that kind of a job or living in what to me looks like a particularly old, somewhat run-down home. But he's with the person he wants to be with and he's happy.
Yeah, because once he comes home, you can see very quickly that the two of them are just happy to be under the same roof together.
Right.
Like, she's greeting him like, oh, darling, you're home. How was your day? And, they're just carrying on like they would at the end of a long day. Husband comes home to a loving wife. And Ryo sees him through the window and he's like, oh, you know what? He's not so bad. I don't get it. What's going on here?
Yeah, I don't understand why he was dumb enough to be like, yeah, I believe this guy. This guy was a liar and he tricked the daughter. And wait a minute. This doesn't match up at all. I hate when people do that.
Now, the thing is, while Ryo has been watching this guy, he also noticed that this guy was being watched by two other guys in, matching suits, black suits with, bright pink undershirts and ties.
And a fedora and glasses. They're both dressed exactly the same. They look way more Italian mob than they do...
They look mafia, yeah.
They look mafia rather than yakuza.
Well, okay, I don't know about mafia. They look guys and dolls. That's what they look like.
Okay, that's fair.
And these two guys, we don't know who sent them, but they are assholes and they are very rude because they bust into the house there and they do not take off their shoes.
Yeah, that was the first thing that I noticed, and maybe you wouldn't pay attention to a detail like that, but I promise you, 1, we did, and 2, City Hunter did.
And 3, Japanese people everywhere would know that.
Yeah, what the fuck, man? You just bust on in here, and he's like, yeah, man, I got a present for you. Say hello to my gun! That's not a very nice Christmas present at all.
It's illegal.
And you're pointing the barrel right at me. That's not a very safe way to give a Christmas present.
Now, thankfully, Ryo has seen all of this happen and was ready, so he opens the back door to this house and then chucks his shoe into the room like, hey, take off your shoes before you come in here.
So, yeah, even he noticed, and they didn't kick off their shoes. What the fuck? I gotta go in.
I gotta teach you some manners. So he knocks one guy out with his shoe, and then he punches the ever-loving shit out of the other guy through their front door.
Mind you, because it's such an old-ass house, it's still the sliding wood and paper door. And so, yes, it takes, a light breeze to break those doors. But that guy has busted down the whole frame of the door and has been busted through the fence. Yeah. Outside into the street. So, they just broke down the whole wall. Okay.
Yeah, he's done more damage.
So, I understand that the guys were rude about the shoes, but Ryo, don't you think you did a little bit more damage? But actually, the couple does not seem to be mad about that because they were more concerned that they were going to be ripped apart by these guys with guns pointed at them. So, I guess that's fine that he did that.
So, the two guys run off, and now, it's a Christmas episode. We've got some really important Christmas music in City Hunter. We could be playing more TM Network, bringing that back for the Christmas season. No, you know what bullshit they're playing right now? It's that damn French music again. Why?
At least they're consistent. This one time I wish they weren't, because this is my least favorite track on the entire City Hunter soundtrack, and they've been using it for 3 years.
I know.
They won't stop.
You gotta stop. It doesn't fit the scene at all. I get that's probably all you had, but still, guys, come on.
I do appreciate multiple times in this episode they have used tracks that are from all the way back in 1987.
In season 1, yeah.
Season 1. So they're still trying to be see guys, we still remember, we're still us. And I'm like, yeah, you are, but I wish you were never this one.
Yeah, not anyone but him. That track right there. Alright, stop it.
Stupid accordion, though.
So Tsubaki is trying to thank Ryo for running these two guys off, and she's like, oh, thank you so much, we don't know who you are. And Ryo introduces himself, oh, no, it's fine, you don't have to thank me, I'm your fiancé now.
And she's like, the hell you are, what? And he's like, yeah, your dad said so, because I'm gonna bring you back, because your dad paid me to do that. And she's like, well, what the fuck? They're both just kind of, what the fuck? Meanwhile, another car comes up from down the street, and a lady steps out, and who's this lady? It's the boyfriend's mom,
yeah,
who
it's
runs
Kazuhiko's mom.
Who runs the other company, the opposing shipping company. And she's like, oh, I see that you're here to break up my son and this whore of...
Yeah, she hates Tsubaki. She hates her.
She really does.
And, like, she's got RBF.
Resting bitch face? I was gonna say rich bitch face, but like...
Well, I would have gone with... Because she's got this tight, not quite box cut. It's like Bridget Nielsen in Beverly Hills Cop 2.
Yeah.
That kind of haircut.
Yeah.
But it kind of gives off that vibe.
Business bitch.
Yes, absolutely.
Very much. She says she's like 55-year-old business bitch.
Yes.
Okay? And she's like, oh, well, thank you for taking care of this shit. I don't know who you are, but I'm taking my son back right now. And the son's like, well, what the fuck? What was up with these two guys who bust into our home and put a gun on me? And she's like, I didn't send anybody to do that. And he's like, excuse me? Yeah, get in the car. And he gets dragged his ass into the car.
'Cause she's got two dudes.
Yeah, she's got her own two dudes. And they're not the dudes that had the gun on him. So, yeah, what's that about?
They just drag his ass into the car and drive off. And Tsubaki's just beside herself like, oh my god, what the hell just happened? And we were sitting down to have a nice dinner. And then these two dudes bust in with guns. And then this weirdo in
Miami Vice colors comes in throwing shoes.
And he like wrecks our wall. And then this dude's mom came back and just took her son.
And just threw him in the back of a car and drove away.
Like, I've got a pot roast waiting. Like, what's going on?
And Rio's like, well, nothing we can do about that. Guess you better get into my car and let's get out of here. And she's like, I mean, yeah, what else am I gonna do, I guess? They get in the car and they start driving away.
And so while they're in the car, they're talking about the things that the mom had said. You know, she's accusing the daughter of also having duped her son, but also she tells her to tell her dad she will never forgive him for the betrayal that happened 25 years ago.
Ooh.
Secrets.
So Rio's asking her while they're driving away, so, what's this betrayal from 25 years ago? She's like, I don't know, I wasn't there. It's probably some business shit, I don't know.
Well, yeah, because that would have been before she was born.
Yeah, I don't know, I wasn't there. But Rio's looking at her like, it's not business, is it? Like, that's the look on his face, is that he already knows, oh, this isn't business.
And she's trying to, like, explain to Rio, look, I don't know who sent them. I don't know what they wanted. They probably wanted to kill both of us. You see, we're both from rich families. Look, I just want my boy back. I want my man. Let's go get my man. But, I mean, he wouldn't just go back with his mom, right? Like, he's not cool with that, right? And Rio's kind of not quite getting on her case, I would say. But he is trying to challenge, well, how much do you believe in this right now? Because he's like, you know, if you're starting to feel wishy-washy about this thing you decided to do with this guy, you know, running off and eloping, I don't know that I believe you guys are really in love. Because if you're really in love, you'd go after him, you'd storm the gates of hell for this guy. But if you're on the fence, I'm right here. And I'm daddy approved.
And he starts trying to, like, creep his hand across the back of her shoulder, and she just gets all squeamish, which you should, because, what the fuck. Just screams, starts pushing back, and, like, she pulls the handbrake to stop the car, and they go skidding into a bunch of trash cans, and she gets out, and she's like, well, I'm sorry, but I've only got eyes for this one guy. I'm taking off right now. Bye! And as she's leaving, Rio is realizing, or Rio's really telling the audience, like, I sure wish I didn't have to play this role. So he's straight up telling the audience this time, he knows what he's doing. He's not doing it deliberately to be an asshole with no reason. He is doing it to push the correct thing into happening.
Right. He's taking on the role that is needed for what's going on at the time.
So it's like the first time there's been, maybe one of the first times there has been direct to the audience confirmation that that is the kind of person he is, that not every time he's kind of a shady dick
or being a pervert
or whatever, is he doing it just for himself. He's doing it because he thinks if he does that, then the correct good thing will happen.
Well, yeah, it's the means to an end. It's like the way people talk about Columbo episodes. Like, Columbo's not really that slow or really that dumb. He's just putting on more of this character to put somebody else off balance.
Right.
Or to make somebody underestimate him.
Right.
It's the same thing with Rio. Ryo. He's putting on this act of being dumb or lecherous to throw somebody off to what he's actually trying to do.
Like, I do remember another time earlier that we talked about, probably season 2 or something, where there was like a bomb in a whole bunch of underwear that was for sale, right? And that was the other time that I can think of where he basically admitted, oh, I was just acting like a pervert to try to get to all of this underwear to make all of these women run away.
That's right, yeah.
So they wouldn't be in the vicinity of
in the
this
blast
bomb.
radius, yeah.
So he does that. We've seen this consistently now, that he is less of a piece of shit than he just looks like just right from the outset.
Like, if you want to look at it that way, it's not so much that he himself is a full piece of shit, it's more like he's got a piece of shit on a stick, and if he pushes it in a certain direction, he can make somebody run where he wants them to run.
That's true.
I think that's a little more accurate.
That's true.
So he has to go back to the apartment empty-handed because, she's run off, dude has been taken by his mom, and Kaori is pissed by this because, naturally, she makes the assumption that he has tried to do something.
Which, I mean, he did, but he did it for a reason, almost because I think he wanted her to run off, because he wanted to light the fire under her, to go and actually do something about it, to go and save her romance.
Right, exactly. And what's cool here to us, because we love what the show is that Kaori pulls a 100-ton hammer on Ryo here, and it's the fact that it's only 4 frames, both to pull it out and put it away.
And she just manifests a hammer out of light.
Yeah.
Like,
it's a heavy light construct.
Yeah.
Is what it is.
And then she just puts it back away into the void from whence it came.
Into end space. Like, it's crazy. Like, she's a hammer mage.
She is. She's a hammer mage.
She's a wizard. But like a good wizard, not like those terrible wizards.
Oh yeah, there's some, I mean, the wizards themselves aren't, but you know what, it's a whole thing.
It's a whole thing. So, as she's bonking Ryo on the head with this 100-ton hammer, she's chastising him like, I knew you were full of shit. I knew you actually wanted them to break up. You didn't care.
You just wanted the money. That's
you
all
just wanted her.
So now, I'm gonna go out and fix this, and you're gonna stay right here. I'm going to handcuff you to your bed so that you can't fucking leave.
And also, I've kind of already spent half the money we had on Christmas presents and things for New Year's.
So I have to fix this. Somehow. Even though none of this makes sense, I'm gonna go out and fix this.
So yeah, she handcuffs. I don't know how you get handcuffs that big.
Because she handcuffs his wrists and his ankles and just like an enormous cuff around his waist?
Around his torso, yeah.
Yeah.
Like a giant-ass, big-ass handcuff around the bed and Ryo.
She had to have gotten it from Umibozu. It's the only
That's
explanation.
That's the only explanation. But at least we have one.
We made one up, is what we did.
Yeah, but at least we can...
We have something to pull from.
We have something to pull from, like a light construct. So she takes off in the Fiat. She's gotten all dressed up, because apparently she knows where to go. The Umino mansion today, because like you just mentioned, the Umino mom, she has a birthday today.
It's her 55th birthday.
And so here, thankfully, we get that other bit of classic City Hunter BGM that...
That's what I'm saying, is that they keep pulling from classic City Hunter music, which I'm glad for. I just hate the other track.
Yeah, I know, but I like this track.
I do like this one.
So yeah, they're having a birthday party where there's going to be some kind of an announcement made for the company. So Kaori does not have an invite to this party, but she knows what's going on.
She just walks really fast, and then she gets in. That's all it is. It's kind of this, don't see me, don't see me, don't see me.
And I love the way they animated that. Like, that's absolutely the vibe you get.
Yeah.
As she's getting in there.
I'm shocked that it was that easy to get in. She literally just walked in, but a little fast.
Yeah. So she gets up in there and she's looking around and trying to see, well, the son, Kazuhiko, he's going to come out with his mom here in a little bit. At some point, Tsubaki's got to show up. If she's really on the level about wanting to save this relationship, save her man from the bitch-ass mom, she's going to show up. But where is she? Is she in disguise? What's going on? And so the mom comes out, the business lady mom, and she's like, yes, I am here, I am 55, I am rich, and I'm going to retire today, and I am giving the company to my son, who I declare to be single, so any women, please come hit on him.
The son is so fucking miserable. He doesn't want to be here.
He's not making eye contact with anybody. He's just looking at the ground.
He doesn't want to be here. He doesn't want to take the company. He doesn't want any of the other women that are at the party. Just a miserable, like, wouldn't you be? Wouldn't you be if you got ripped away from the person that you wanted to be with, and the other person also wanted to be with you, but, like, you got ripped away? Like, what the fuck?
Yeah. And like, clearly, like, the assumption here is that if this is what's going on, that this is all financially motivated, most of the women here probably don't know him like Tsubaki knows him, and are probably gold diggers, you imagine, because they keep pushing out there how rich this family is.
Sure. Or they're just like, oh my god, he's hot.
He's cute.
Like,
oh, look at him.
They don't know him. They don't know.
They don't know him. They haven't put time in. You don't know. You don't know his life.
But that's okay, because somebody who does know him is just busting in.
So, like, earlier this week, you know, I was watching the newest episode of Dawn to Dawn, and they did this thing again that they've done before, where they were playing their version of the William Tell Orchestra. Overture. And, you know, you associate that with, like, the Lone Ranger and somebody riding in, you know, hi-ho, Silver, away, and coming in to the rescue on a horse. That could have played right here.
Yeah, you don't often see a woman coming in on a great white horse to come and rescue a man, but I'm very glad that it has happened here, because it's so hardcore.
Yeah, Tsubaki comes riding in like a bat out of hell on this horse.
This is so gar. Like,
it is so gar. It is. Oh god, I haven't used that word in so many years. Thank you. It is so gar. She comes riding in on this horse, and she doesn't even hit the brakes on this horse or anything. She's riding in like, Kazuhiko! And he's yelling back, Tsubaki! And he comes barreling down the stairs. She Akira drifts the horse.
She throws her arm down for him to grab and swings him up and around on the back of the horse. Then peels the horse back around and busts through a pane of glass.
Like the opening of Kamen Rider Black. Like, just straight through the glass, and they're gone.
And I feel super bad for this horse, but I guess the horse is fine, because this horse
just That's gotta be a Hollywood horse.
Just keeps going, and it had to have been sugar glass, too.
Oh yeah, you imagine they installed sugar glass because it's an action.
And it has just left everybody in the room like, what the fuck?
What is this shit? What, are we filming right now? And Kaori's just like, oh my god, that's amazing. The passion, the romance, the paycheck. Ah, crap, I let him go.
Well, what could she have done? She's just standing there. What could she do? She could shoot the horse, I guess, but please
no, you don't want to shoot the horse. But, like, it's kind of the thing, like, you're not really thinking about it, but to see this in person, like, if you're Kaori in this moment, you're on watch, you are not expecting a horse to come barreling through the front door, do a drift turn like Initial D, and then crush through the wall like it's no big deal. And you imagine Kaori's there like, this is the hypest shit ever.
Because don't forget, Kaori is also a person who has busted through the glass pane of a bank to get to her own money. So she must be like, this is fucking incredible.
She's over here like, yeah, go get your man. Yeah, that's how you do it. Yeah. Ah, shit. And so, like, they've taken off. We follow them on the horse. They've made it back to Shinjuku from wherever this mansion is.
Back into Shinjuku Park.
Like, people are waving at them. They're driving by like, hi, yes, we're on a horse. We're kind of busy. We're trying to get away from people.
But the other two dudes who originally didn't take off their shoes and pulled a gun.
Yeah, the mafia guys.
Yeah. They're like, hey, there they are on that horse, which we were totally prepared for them to do here and now.
Yeah, like, how did you know? How did you know to be posted up in the park?
To wait for them to come riding on horseback through Shinjuku Central Park? What do you mean? And then on top of that, Ryo has apparently busted out of the handcuffs on the bed, and he's in the Mini Cooper, and he's watching the dudes.
Also waiting in the park.
He's watching the dudes, and he's like, well, I guess I'll put it in the drive. That's how it ends. Like, everybody's waiting for everybody else to go and follow the previous set of people.
Flying through the sunrise. And they're all here. That's the freeze frame. Is
searching for the sunset.
Is Kazuhiko and Tsubaki on horseback followed by the two mafia dudes in what looks like a light silver, it looks like a Mustang.
It kind of looks like, it's a muscly kind of a car.
Yeah, like a muscle car. And then behind them is Rio in this really squattily drawn Mini Cooper, which looked super squatty at the beginning of the episode, and we almost forgot to mention this. At a certain point, you see on the back, there's like a Union Jack sticker on it.
Yeah, he's clearly gotten now a different model of Mini Cooper, which if you look at, I think it's Internet Movie Cars Database or something like that. I've looked at their website a few times. They have listed out every time in City Hunter, they have switched to a different model of Mini Cooper. So it's happened at least like 3 times by this point.
So, like, yeah, that's the end of the episode. Everybody's in chase, and we're going to have to find out where they go and if they're going to get this resolved, and if we're going to find out what the betrayal from 25 years ago actually entailed.
Yes, we will find that out for sure.
But, okay, yeah, it's an interesting episode. Like, I could recommend this one.
But also the Christmas vibes make it pair pretty nicely with doing it around Christmas. If you're going to watch it around Christmas. Pair it with its second part in this 2-parter.
Yeah, but at the same time, like, as important as the next episode is going to be for multiple reasons, the only thing that would make it, like, the real cherry on top would be if they played the second TM Network song, the Christmas song.
Yeah, which I don't think they do. Which is so dumb.
I know, it's right there. They wrote it for Christmas.
You played it for like half a season, and then you're not going to play it for the other Christmas episodes that you do. I don't understand.
What is this?
I don't understand.
That was an easy layup. What are you doing?
They did it for one Christmas episode, then they didn't stop playing it, and now they're never going to play it again.
I know, it's really dumb, because I like both of those songs.
I do.
But it's like, they're beating you over the head in these episodes with, do you get that they're Romeo and Juliet? We have made these two characters Romeo and Juliet coded.
Now, they also literally say it out loud
multiple times. But yeah, next episode we're gonna get a very important moment between Ryo and Kaori as they're actually trying to help out Tsubaki and Kazuhiko in covering for them because they eventually learn what the truth is. But also there's a little interesting historical tidbit which we'll have to tell you guys more about. It's in the second part.
We hinted at it in the last episode and just couldn't rightly remember, but I was pretty positive. Yes, it is in the second part of this episode. There's a very small frame that you will never be able to see in any release of this episode ever again, so we're just gonna have to tell you about what it is.
It's kind of a trip once you realize what it actually entails.
A little bit of a touchy subject, but we're gonna get to it.
Yeah. So stay tuned for that on next episode.
So come back next time when we cover the 11th episode of City Hunter 3, A Wedding Dress for Christmas, Part 2.
And if you want to catch us both outside this podcast, you can always find us over on Blue Sky. I'm at JoshKnightTheFirst.bsky.social.
And I'm at MarzGurl.com. Thank you all so much for listening to our 126th episode of MokkoriPlay. And if you don't come back next episode, Josh can't tie the knot.
Well, I'm not tying a knot, I'm tying a bow. I have to do Christmas presents.
Just put it in a bag.
I mean, yeah, but that's lazy. I want to do the work. Make it look nice.
You do you.
I will. Now where's the tape?